All right, welcome back, everyone. Happy holidays. Tough loss for the Bears, so we'll kick it off with that. And that's the end of it. I don't want to see any comments on that, but I got my regular guest, Cody Davis, back, and we got MJ. It's been a while since I've seen him, but morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, so MJ, why don't you quickly introduce yourself to the people in the chat right now, where you're at, what you invest in, and then we can kick into it.
Okay, I go by MJ. I'm in the Chicago area. I have three properties at the moment, two duplexes, one single family that I'm rehabbing right now with a rehab loan. So I guess it's like a burr on training wheels, I've been told. So I just looking to learn and network and continue my journey of real estate.
Very cool. Yes, and MJ will be in Vegas also for year three, but I met him year one at the Vegas event. So yeah, let's kick into it. So Mondays, I like to dig into some of the videos that Cody does on his Tuesday, Thursday on his channel. So I believe he's streaming. I haven't checked, but he might be streaming live also. So go check out his channel. Go subscribe there. But yeah, MJ, I'm not sure if you got a chance to take a peek at the videos Cody did. I know one was talking about uh, kind of equity, and one was also about an unconventional way to pay down debt. So did you get a chance to take a look at those?
Yeah, I chimed in for both of them a good minute. Yeah.
All right, you got any thoughts that you want to bring up quickly, or I got some questions for him on it.
You go first to break the ice, Mark.
All right, cool. Yeah, so one, like I said, was kind of maybe either hoarding equity or that idea of walking away from some equity. So you said walking away from equity was painful to your ego maybe a little bit. So how do investors know when ego is driving decision instead of strategy?
Well, it's just a question of if you have what you want or not. So you could have a bigger balance sheet. I know someone with a 9-figure balance sheet, but their cash flow isn't very strong. They don't have what they want. So to use round numbers, let's say you go from I'm going to take a couple of zeros off. Let's say you go from a net worth of a million to 800,000, but your cash flow goes up dramatically. That would be a great trade for someone that wants financial freedom, wants enough passive income to walk away from their job. If you have that option, like right now, I'm working on selling a couple properties. One of the smaller properties is a duplex. You sell a duplex, it's a little sick, and sell it for a little bit less than you really want to, but you take that money and put it into a better cash flowing asset with more upside. You're walking away from some of the equity on your balance sheet. You're discounting it so someone else can feel like they're getting a great deal because they are, but you can actually go get what you want. And I'm doing that on a 27 unit right now. I'm doing that on my 39 unit. I'm open to doing that on some other smaller properties. And a lot of investors don't want to do that. They want top dollar. They worked very hard to get where they're at, and they don't want to discount all the work that they've done. But if you don't have what you want, then you got to change something, or you got to let time do its thing. And I'm at the point where I have to change something. So I'm discounting my stuff a little bit. And even though it does hurt the ego a bit, because you may be worth more, that's not what really matters. What matters is having the disposable free cash flow that doesn't have a whole lot of headaches attached to it.
Was this kind of thought process something you were already starting to maybe look into, or was it really being kind of around Dion a little bit more often now?
It's a mix of both. I was thinking about it, but if I adjust my pieces, because I play a little differently than Dion, so it's more hands on. But the overall concept of what he's about is what I'm shooting for and what my wife and I are shooting for. And so rather than maybe having 19 units or 16 units, or someday maybe he has no units and he's just a lender, the lazy way, right? I I'll probably have 70 to 100 newer units that I do cash out refinances on every once in a while. But they should all be newer, and that does stem a lot from Dion. because he seems to be most aligned with living the life he wants to live and having total freedom.
Before I let MJ maybe ask something, I do see Justin Canberra here. So I want to quickly give Justin a shout out. Cody and Justin will be, I believe, live streaming. I know they're going to start probably recording on Wednesdays. Are you guys going to be live streaming every Wednesday, Cody? Yeah, Cody.
Yeah, we will be. So every Wednesday, we're going to find a topic. He's getting his watch hours up. I'm getting mine up. And it's fun to do another live discussion because I don't host this live. Sometimes I forget to press the button. So we got to figure that out together on last Wednesday, and we'll continue doing that.
Yeah, very cool. And if people didn't see, Zuber has been live streaming on multiple platforms also too. I think yesterday he gave it a shot. So yesterday he did his Uneducated Economist live stream. It was also on X, LinkedIn, and YouTube at the same time. So he's testing out the streaming platforms. But MJ, did you have any questions that you want to? I know you follow Dion also, and you're kind of in that maybe time freedom, kind of more of that's your goal, right? So. Did you have any thoughts for Cody on the equity side of things? Looks like he's glitching up. All right. Oh. Okay. So Cody, maybe let's see. Maybe most investors obsess over maximizing return on equity. What do you think, or why do you think fewer people talk about optimizing for time, stress, and mental bandwidth?
A lot of people care about what other people think about them. They care what everyone else sees. And so they're willing to be a little bit busier. This is from what I've experienced. People that I know, they're willing to be a little busier and have more headaches if it means they can look like they're doing better to other people. And that's a bummer. I mean, that's taken a couple of my friends down paths that I wouldn't.
You're back.
What happened?
I don't know. I think MJ's coconut wireless is affecting. Now I'm not sure. I'm gonna. Oh, are you back, MJ?
Hear me?
Uh,
I can see and hear y'all.
Okay, there you go. Now we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So my question to Cody is between Dion, Lumberjack, and Zuber, which I guess style of investing you leaning more towards and why?
Definitely Dion. Though I do it different because I do cash out refinances. For very specific reasons, I have to shift certain debts around the portfolio. I play in the commercial space. I don't have 30-year fixed rate for most of my stuff. I have some 40-year fixed rate, but a lot of my debts mature every 10 years. So I have to refinance. And I prefer the way Dion does it. It's just the way I'm doing it's a little bit bigger. It's not about having the most I can from the least. It's about having the most I can without burdening my time. And so right now I'm shifting from 100 something rentals to probably around 100. But the 100 will all be built within the last decade. The rents are going to be double what I'm accustomed to. So rather than being an $800 average rent, there'll be an $1,800 average rent to $1,900 and pushing into the 2000s soon. It's not the same market that I have been building in, but there's a lot of different stressors from owning the old stuff versus the new stuff. I'd rather have the vacancy hit. When you have a vacancy, you lose $1,800 versus you have a sewer line go out and it's 20 grand. So that's what I'm shifting into. And I'd like to most align with what Dion is doing. I just believe that it will be a bigger business than what he's built because my sole goal is not to have the most from the least.
I love that. I hope the one thing people take away from what you just said and the question MJ brought up is that you kind of are following Dion's kind of mindset, but you're doing things different, bigger, maybe in a sense. And I think a lot of people I see in our community, they're, I don't know if I want to say that maybe they're too much trying to mimic one of the three in a sense. Like they're completely trying to be the next Dion or they're trying to be the next landlord and they're following the exact same and they're not making decision what fits their lifestyle maybe better and they're trying to do exactly what let's say Dion does, right? So I think hopefully people that's what they take away what Cody says is this the mindset is there, the Dion's one, but you're also doing things slightly different, right? So MJ, but great question you brought up for Cody, but for you, what would that be for you? You know, out of Zuber, you know, even Millennial Mike, you know, lumberjack, even Cody, like who would be the one that you're kind of trying to follow in somewhat mindset wise?
Well, I take a little bit of all three or four, or five people. I try to, uh, take a little bit here and there from each person and align it to my day to day life. But simply answer the question, I would say the most the person that most aligns to what I'm trying to do is Dion in the sense of, he was a truck driver instructor. As far as the medium income, Zuber had a big sales income, Lumberjack had a big sales income, so them guys was on bigger levels already, so they can invest a little bit more money from their disposable income from that high salary. Versus Dion, is of the average American, I would say. So I would say Dion.
Yeah, I think Dion relates to a lot of people in the community. But let's see. So Cody, what is the bigger mistake long term? Selling too early or holding too long just to protect the balance sheet?
It depends on the goal. Because here's an example. If my goal was to have the biggest balance sheet ever, selling too early would be the bane of that trajectory. Like it would kill it. If I wanted to achieve financial freedom the fastest, then holding on too long to protect the balance sheet would be the killer. And here's the reason. Right now, or I should say a really good example. I'm selling a duplex right now that my wife and I own, and we have an offer. We would like to be at 345. They put it at 330 after a lot of back and forth. And we were thinking, do we counter at 335? Does holding on for another 5,000 kill the 1031 that's going to get us more cash flow? No, it doesn't, because we'll just come up with it out of the portfolio elsewhere. There are some people that will hold on for that offer, and it might take them a year to get it. Not the extra $5,000, but the list price. It might take them a year. It might take them 6 months. And that time goes away, and then their 1031 deal goes away. And that duplex, while it may cash flow a couple $100, the 1031 target we have is a seller financed project, and it'll cash flow about $2,000 a month. And it's like, do we really want to wait and jeopardize that deal just to say, hey, we got our price? The answer is no. We'll go make more money is the focus. So if you're trying to get to freedom the fastest, in that example, it would make sense to accept the lower offer, figure out the delta, the difference between what you have and what you need to go buy the next deal, and then go get more cash flow today. Because the cash flow basically 10x. It goes from 200 to about $2,000 a month. So like that's a lot more freedom for us on a monthly basis. So it makes more sense just to bite the bullet. But if you're trying to build the biggest portfolio ever, you don't want to sell at discounts. So again, it just comes back to your objectives. My objective is freedom in the fastest form possible. That's not going to blow up in my face. And so a conversation my wife and I are having this morning is, hey, let's just let it go. Take $5,000 less. We're still making a profit. Take the money, reallocate it to something that's going to pay us better, and enjoy the freedom.
MJ, for you, I know maybe you're a little bit more in the accumulation phase in your journey right now. Is there any, do you even look at maybe the net worth equity side of things? Is that a factor for you, or is it still like the accumulation, the cash flow is driving kind of your decisions?
I'm more focused on accumulation and scaling things of that nature. I do have apps that help me like look and understand my net worth and equity and stuff like that, but I don't pay it too much mind. I know it's like Zuba always says, it's like a fictitious. Like I mean, depending on what the market is and depending on what you need or want to do with it, it can be a good or a bad thing. But for now, it's more of just like it's just more of a mental ego. Like, oh wow, look at my. I only keep it between myself. I'm not, but it's like a little motivational for me too, just to see it.
Um,
So I got a question
hmm,
for Cody.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does your age help or hurt you in real estate transactions? Like, people see you 26, 27, young, you know, kid, like you just got out of high school, for many, and it's like, what's this guy doing? Does that help or hurt you for the most part, in your experiences?
It doesn't necessarily hurt you, and it doesn't necessarily help you. It depends how you play into it. I definitely used my age to my advantage when I was getting started. Asking for help can be easier when you are looking like a baby face 19-year-old than if you are 80 years old. People expect you have a little bit more life experience and knowledge. You don't need to be asking for help. And that's just a gross example because it's so far apart. But I used my baby face to my advantage. That said, today, age never comes up because I'm going to be talking with people at a high level about how to structure these deals. And there's still a lot to learn. But when it comes to putting together the finance on this, a lot of the small town mom and pop owners don't know more than I do when it comes to putting together a deal. So I can speak the language, and that's the most important piece, I think, for being able to put together deals. If people trust in your ability to put together a deal, you can put together a deal. If you're leaning too hard on your age one way or another as to why you need help, great, you can get help, but the other party is gonna feel like they're gonna have to be the ones to put this together. Today, I'm putting together structures that make a lot of sense for all parties involved. And when I meet them for the first time, like I just met an owner of a townhome site that they have owned and rented out for a few years. And I'm probably half their age, maybe younger, but it didn't phase them. I mean, it might have in their head, but we're working out a deal because they know I can put it together. I've laid out the structure very clearly, and so we're moving forward. So I would use your age however you can to your advantage, but if you know what you're doing, it's not going to hurt you to be young or old.
Okay, I asked that for multiple reasons. One of them is like when I first got started, I was 29, and as far as contractors, handymen, things of that nature, when I'm trying to get people to fix, rehab, turn a unit or whatnot, they try to take advantage, knowing I'm young but not thinking I have the knowledge. So that's why I was kind of asking, like, has that ever happened to you? I don't know how close you work with uh handymans and things of that nature, thinking like maybe you don't know what they think so they try to play you, maybe try to upcharge you, give you a price that is just not the price. If you know what I'm saying, it's just kind of like pretty much judging you, stereotypical, like, oh, he's in his 20s, what do he know about this? He don't know how much this costs. I'm gonna say I paid this, and oh, like, how you had experience with that?
Absolutely. And I've had to call people out. Even some of my good friends who are contractors, I've had to call them out before. There was a building that someone was trying to bid me like 100 grand to get it painted. And it's a it's a big building, to be fair. But I just told him, hey, I have someone that I work with a lot, and they painted a lot of my commercial multifamily. They're at 40 grand, and they're like, well, I can match it. I didn't know what you want. I'm like, you're not coming down $60,000. Come on, you're just trying to get a fast one. So if you know what you're doing, then yeah, you can call them out and just but give them the prices because I do a lot of plumbing work now, and I can get units replumbed for 4 grand, and I have people telling me it's going to be 12. I'm like, well, these 30 units that I replumbed, I got it done for X in the bathroom specifically. So you're saying it's going to be this, but please break that down for me. And they can't in a way that's ethical. So if you can give them those facts, then they'll either come down to reality or they'll say, well, you should go with that offer.
I do want everyone to, if they can, go check out Brady Morgan's YouTube channel. He also just came out with his book. It's on Amazon. It's about never sell. So go check it out. He talks about it on his YouTube channel. He's in Wyoming. But the question, that's why I put that YouTube channel there. But the question is from John Litz, Deconstructing Dreams. He had another eye surgery, so hope you're feeling better, man. But he says, Cody, when are you going to, I'll say, Cody, when is your book coming out then instead of when are you writing a book?
Whenever I feel like my story merits a book.
I think you could write one. I mean, I think a lot of people would.
So on that note, when I set out and got started, I mentioned there's 4 stages in business. You got your build phase where you're buying up the world, which is what MJ's doing right now. And then you have stabilization phase where you get everything to be consistent. You're in optimization phase where you go to highest and best use of your portfolio. And then you debt hammer, you pay everything off. And you can do that in cycles. You can pay off specific things. So I did my first build phase, and then I did my first stabilization, optimization, and then I did my first round of paying off a bunch of debts. And now I'm in I did some more buying, I did some more stabilizing, and I'm in the second round of optimization where I'm upgrading the actual property itself from old to new. And then I'm in debt payoff. When I complete the second cycle of those stages, then maybe I do a book. Because that's true freedom. I mean, it's one thing to have financial freedom. I don't work a job, but to have financial freedom with old properties. But then to secure it with proper reserves with brand new properties, that's another level. So maybe when I get there, then I write a book. But till then, I'm still playing the game.
All right, great segue. So maybe right after I asked California Wine Guide's question, we'll dig into your other video about eliminating personal debt. But I'm not sure if Cody saw it. I know MJ didn't because he is no longer in school. So maybe I don't know. I don't know if Zuber talked about it, but California Wine Guide is asking, what are your guys' thoughts on FIBI? So Phoebe, do you guys, Cody, did you see Zuber's writing about that? Or do you know what that is?
Not off the top of my head.
All right, so Phoebe is Zuber wrote about it's fuck it, book it. So if people don't know, Zuber is writing every day now. He's posting it in school and on LinkedIn. But I'm not sure if he came across something that was talking about this, but this is what he did write about it. It was kind of just about not to be financially irresponsible, but take the trips, do the things you want to do. Book it, just do it, find the time. Money is money. You can always make more. I mean, of course, like he's saying, do not be financially irresponsible about it, but at the same time, do the things you want to do. Book the trip. So what's your guys' thoughts on that?
You want to go first, MJ?
I think yeah, I'll go ahead. More like drink responsibly, right? Like you go out, have fun, drink. I mean, get an Uber or a designated driver so you won't get yourself into no trouble. I think it's a good idea. Obviously, like I say, just do it responsibly because sometimes you can overplay your part when celebrate, and then you can mess your momentum up too. Your momentum can go in a whole different direction if you lose sight of vision and goals. So, I guess like anything, do it in moderation. Don't get too happy, too excited, because you still own the journey. So obviously, easier said than done. Just do things seldomly. Just know thyself, know your limits and stuff of that nature. That's what I would say with that.
I see you your Instagram. I see you taking some nice travels. And what's the update on? I know you were trying to learn another language, right?
It's
How's that
it's
coming?
it's high. It's high. Yeah, I'm going to Italy in next month. Yeah, when I do things and travel, I'm a type of person that like about the flights, get the hotel, get everything out the way. So by the time the date and stuff actually come, I got all spending money. So I'm not like putting on credit card debt. So anything, or even if I do, by the time the actual date comes, it's paid off. So that's how I try to go with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't just off the one day to the next. It's very well thought out. So it might look like that, like, man, he just get up and go, but this was like actually premeditated.
And what about you, Cody? What's your thoughts on Zuber's Phoebe? I guess.
If you have the mindset of you're going to figure it out, then go for it. You can always make more money, but if your only means to make money right now is working at a job, then that would be a poor mindset to embrace. If your goal, caveat that, if your goal is financial freedom, if you already have rentals and you know how to build more passive income, then go for it. It's a timepiece, right? I mean, it just takes time to regenerate that. But if you have to put in hours as your only source to get income, then that is a very bad idea.
I think I would add to that also, like you said, if you're the type of person that you'll figure it out, but also if it's not gonna add any extra stress for you. So yes, you might go on take this travel and trip, and you might enjoy. But then when you come back, let's say you do have some debt from it or whatnot, and now and now it's just weighing on you, right? So as long as it's not going to add any extra stress to yourself, and to that point, like I said, your other video was about eliminating personal debt or an unconventional way to possibly look at it. But before we dig into that, John deconstructing dreams is saying, "I love the debt hammer strategy combined with Debt Snowball to get the psychological wins." So maybe Cody, you can kind of touch on that video you also did on your channel recently about the eliminating personal debt, a kind of unconventional way.
Yeah, the way that I did it is, so I like to look at my investments as like what they're for. And there are people out there who say, I'm going to buy an asset that pays for X. And so you got a car payment of $500. I need to get an asset that cash flows $500 plus all the maintenance and reserves and all that. That's not the way I like to look at it for servicing personal liabilities. When I want to service a personal liability, I want to knock it out. So I look for rentals that I can do a value add on, cash out more money than my down payment and my make ready costs, and just wipe out the debt. So I actually did value add apartments to the point where I could just cash out refi, write a check for the cars. And if you have a student loan, let's say 50 grand, you owe for student loans, what type of asset would you have to buy to boost the value enough to pull 50 grand out tax free to wipe out the student loan and still have it cash flow? How do you do that? And what I ended up doing, because my car loans, they weren't nothing, uh, for the car I bought for myself and for my wife, and we don't have any of that debt anymore. But one of the ways we did it is the 39 unit pulled out $250,000 tax free, threw a bunch of it at the property, threw some of it at paying off, um, like a small portion of that paying off the cars, getting rid of it, and then the rest was used to buy more property. But what type of property would you have to buy that is big enough that dwarfs your current obligations? And for me, it's been apartments. But I like to think of what asset do I not own today that I could own that could knock it out. So I owe there's an investor that used to be a partner. They seller financed their equity to me, so I own 100% of the LLC. I owe them 100 grand. What asset do I not own today that I could buy where I could do the value add and pull out 100 grand and knock them out? Because now I'm not tapping my current cash flow. And if I'm doing a cash out refi and commercial, part of my buy box, a lender's not going to allow me to go into a negative position. It has to debt cover. So I'm going to get paid cash flow above and beyond the money I pull out, and I'll knock out a personal obligation. That's how I build my buy box, is what obligations do I have to clear? And then what is the property profile that could handle that type of deal? So it's, for my stuff, typically going to be like a 10 unit to 20 unit property for a value add. And do the value add, pull the money out, knock out the obligation. Now I have more cash flow because I have these assets I didn't own before. And I don't have the payment on the personal side.
I like that. MJ, did you get to take a look at that video about the eliminating the
Yeah, I
debt?
chimed in a couple of minutes of the video.
Did you have any thoughts
So,
on that one, or?
yeah, I was gonna ask Cody, what's your thoughts on paying off property? Whether, well, both. I want your thoughts on both residential and commercial. Your thoughts on that, like how you go about it.
I'm a fan. The happiest people I know own a lot of rentals in cash. I mean, a lot of rentals, and they're not slummy rentals either. They're nice. So I mean, there's people online that say, "Oh, you got to be in debt forever." It's not true. I mean, you can be in debt forever. That's how the system is designed. I'm probably going to have 8 figures of debt plus for the rest of my life, but hopefully the equity position grows disproportionately. I will have debt-free rentals for sure. I don't right now. Well, I have 2 right now, but that's not by design. Like, it was a cash purchase to get a really low price, and then I'm doing the refi to pull money out and pay off some of my personal debts, like we just discussed. But I don't intend to have any debt free in the next year or so. I'm trying to upgrade, and I think it is wise for people to have a few paid off rentals that cover their lifestyle with lines of credit for their emergency needs. If and those could get cut off, but it's nice to have line of credit against those assets if you need it.
So, because what's the tax implications? I hear people say, "Oh, you want debt, so you don't got to pay taxes, X, Y, Z." But hypothetically speaking, if you do got paid off rentals, how much taxes do you pay, or how much more would you have paid? Do you have any idea how that go?
Well, I haven't done that yet. I mean, I own a sixplex in cash, but again, it's the design of it is to cash out refi. I haven't owned and operated debt-free rentals for extended periods of time, so I don't have firsthand experience on it. But the reasoning I've been told by people who do own those rentals in cash is it's cheaper to pay interest than it is to pay taxes. So they'd rather pay 6 or 7% to a bank than pay the 20 to 30% to the government, is what they've told me. But I don't have the experience there. My point of view is if you have enough rentals that are paid for, taxes just becomes a line item expense. Like, if you own your freedoms, like, so what? You could pay it. It doesn't matter for those people. I know folks who cash flow 100 grand a month plus, they got no debt, and that's not the rent. That's like their net operating income. It's over $1.2 million a year in NOI, and they're happy as can be. They pay a lot more taxes than I do, but they also have way more freedom than I do.
Yeah, I think that's
So
what
it's
we're all
essentially like
striving
yin
for,
and
right?
the yang. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No,
Go
I was
ahead,
gonna say
MJ.
it's essentially like a yin and a yang. You gotta just, some guys always some type of trade off. It's depending on what you want to do personally, I guess.
Yeah, and the way it's designed is you have to keep scaling if you truly don't want to pay taxes for the bulk of your life. Not everybody wants to do that. And for some, it might be wiser just to pay more taxes and enjoy the freedom that you've built. But that's a very personal, that's a discovery question, right? You got to figure out what's right for you. Because even when I have some paid for rentals, I mean, there might be a day where I own like a 30 unit or a 50 unit in cash. But you better believe there's going to be a lot more if I do that will have debt on it. Because I'm going to keep playing the game. I love playing the game. So it'll just be played at a different level. But I'm not going to just keep buying more just to avoid taxes. I'm going to do it out of love for the game, and the benefits or the cons that come with that are going to be there.
Great point. Absolutely. So to that point also, Zuber did touch on in school what his ideal portfolio, would look like or looks like, right? So for him, it was ideally 20 single family homes, newer builds, I believe. I don't know exactly. Maybe he said 2018 or whatever, a certain, but it doesn't have to be brand new, but just newer
Right.
builds. And I believe, I think he may have said there were still maybe some paid off, but there'd be a certain amount of debt on some of them. But yeah, it was, basically 20 single family homes. That's his ideal portfolio on the newer side. Maybe less maintenance, less headaches, but for a lot of people, I think that would be, that would be it for them, right? So I think to Cody's point, right, it definitely is, you just gotta know yourself. And Cody enjoys playing the game, so that's why he said, he continued to scale to some part. But some people are making moves just because they're trying to avoid certain things, and it's just, it's just putting more work on your plate. So it's definitely, you gotta think about what your end goal is, right? Maybe.
Well, a thought on the new stuff, to Zuber's point, I would recommend everybody, like, the newest you buy is 5 years. You don't want to buy brand new. And the reason is there's a lot of, even though it's brand new, there's things and kinks that are going to get worked out. At least that's what I found on apartments. And that's what I've been told by people that are much bigger than anyone I've ever done a Zoom call with, like publicly like this. So like bigger than Zuber and Lumberjack. And like they all say 5 years is the number because it gets all the kinks from the new builds out at scale. And I've noticed that even on my little 7plexes, the brand new stuff that 2-3 years old, there's still stuff that it didn't really come to light until now. But I've been told by a lot of the bigger fish that you really don't want to buy like brand new because you're going to be fixing a bunch of stuff that the builder didn't do perfect for the first few years.
MJ, any questions? Any more questions you got?
I'm just soaking up all the information now. I don't want to overwhelm or overload myself, so I'm just listening, taking notes, writing things down.
So as I mentioned earlier, Brady Morgan's YouTube channel, like he also discusses the new book he came out with, but he does kind of break down the thought process. But cash out refi on a paid off rental gets you cash tax free. That's why my goal is financing a paid off home every year for the rest of my life. No more scaling, no more taxes, just perpetual growing income. All right, let's see. So, Cody, once personal debt is gone, how does that change the way you invest, negotiate, and take risk?
Well, I mean, a lot of the risk is going to be off the table at that point. Getting the seller notes paid off, the past equity partners, when those are gone, life just gets a lot easier because I'm the one fronting those payments right now. And right now, that amount's over $1 million. It's closer to 2 than it is to 1. So that accrues higher than standard interest. I'm just floating that out of cash flow and out of my deals right now. When that goes away, there's just more freedom. So I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, continue to optimize the old to the new. But that monthly amount that I've been paying for quite a while is probably just going to get allocated into doing a bigger deal with less stress. I don't want to go swing for the fences right now with that monthly payment. But when that's gone, it's basically what I'm doing right now, just doing a bigger deal for a bigger payoff. So that's what I see myself doing, and I think it'll be less risk than what I have right now, even though I'll be doing a bigger deal.
I'm probably more enjoyable and probably less on a strict timeline, right? Like you're saying, you get rid of a lot of the debt, and then it's kind of a project that maybe you want to work on and kind of at your own time frame. But so MJ, you kind of brought up also, the paying off of a property or having, paid off homes. What are you leaning towards right now? Or from all this information you said you're absorbing, would you lean towards having debt on properties or you're trying to pay off things?
I think initially to get the loans, I need that. However, my goal is to pay them off because I got three properties now, two duplexes and a two-story single family. If I can get, not if, when I get to where even I just got four or five and I focus on, paying extra payments to principal and whatever to pay the properties off earlier, with five paid off properties in the next 10, 12, 25 plus years with, inflation being on my side, rent rising and stuff like that, I won the game. I figured out a way to get in and get out without stressing, without doing it. The good thing about investing nowadays is there's so much information to be learned and taught. It's so accessible. So I'm able and I'm willing to continue to learn and surround myself with people that's doing it at a higher scale that made mistakes to learn from them, and I can just put it together and just it just seems so it seems so much it seems very attainable to do, and so I want to just focus on that. But to simply answer the question, I want to pay them off. At first I wanted debt and this and that, but just meet more people and listen to them. I met a older guy that owned a lot of properties here in Chicago, and he told me like, man, how you do is not having no debt. And I really never understood it when he said it at the moment, but now I get more and more into investing and seeing the benefits. I would want to be debt free because that's the ultimate freedom. You won at the blackjack table, you won at the sports bet. Take some chips off and enjoy life. So I would want to pay off some rentals. Well, all of them to be exact. And then
Um, oh, go
one
ahead.
more thing, the rise of property taxes too, which will go always be there. I feel like paid off rental that helps you more. It kind of, I mean, obviously eat at some of your cash flow, but in these bigger democratic cities and states, property taxes gonna continue. So it only makes sense to cut your cost some down if you got to pay it off rent.
I
Love it.
see Jason asking because you were mentioning. So he says, "Do you mean new as in built ground up or completely rehabbed?"
The stuff that I'm doing is the built ground up. I've done a lot of rehabs, well over 100, and the the new stuff is what I'm pushing for. You can spend a bunch of money and rehab an old building. It's still an old building. The the way it was built is just different than it would be built today. Even though the plumbing's going to be new and the electrical can be new, that is better than an old building that hasn't been rehabbed. But it'll never look like the brand new townhomes that I'm building or the new apartments that are going up. It just can't. It won't. So I'm pushing into the new build stuff.
I do see Laser Focus Solutions tuning in from your channel. It says Delaware currently owns zero and trying to get into a portfolio of 27, all owned by the same guy, College Rentals. A lot to learn. Any quick advice from you, Cody? Or well, not advice, maybe, but just your thoughts on it.
I mean, that's great. If those are the type of rentals you want to own, then go for it. But just because someone owns something free and clear and they have freedom, it doesn't mean that's what you want to own. There's a guy I met in Texas who owned property free and clear all over the place. He basically bought a whole bunch of non-performing loans way back when and got ownership of these terrible assets. And he owned them all in cash, hundreds, if not thousands of rentals. They're all garbage. So just because someone has it doesn't mean you need to have it. But if it is what you want to own, then go for it. And either way, you can learn a lot of lessons from these people. So it's exciting. Congratulations on starting the journey.
Yeah, it looks like he's not in school. I was gonna say he should reach out to you in school. If not, if he wanted maybe to talk with you, but yeah, you should come out check out Michael Zuber's One Rent at a Time school platform. $20 a month. You can always cancel. It's a great place to connect, though. I see Ryan Ruff here, so he says you are winning already. You told action. I believe he's speaking to you, MJ. But to that point, also, I want to. So, Ryan and his wife will also be speaking in Vegas along with Cody Davis at the Vegas event. MJ, who went year one, did not make it year two. He will be attending year three. But, MJ, who are you? I know you're looking forward to Cody and Ryan, and his wife speaking, but who else are you looking to connect with in Vegas?
It's a hard one. I think it's the financial firefighter.
Knock it off. I mean, you won't be allowed on this platform anymore after this.
The guy I really want to meet and see is that new one. I don't know. I'm not saying his last name right. The guy from Washington State that I want to meet him. But I don't really have because it can always be. Some go always surprise you. You always gonna learn more than what you thought. So I don't want to just like pin into one person or a group of people. I'm just open to listening and seeing how I can allocate when I'm learning to my day and day goals and what I'm investing in. So just everybody, I'm just open to be there. Just like-minded community that's trying to do positive things and and figure it out for us and our family. So I'm just open to everything and everything that will be presented.
Well, I don't believe Thatch will be there, but we have the next best in. We have Justin Canberra, who is part of Thatch's coaching program. So Justin will be there. So I'm sure you'll get the same great information. So find
it's a lot
Justin
of heavy hitters coming out of Washington State.
There is, yes. So Cody, I know like you said you are actually preparing for your speech in Vegas, but is there any other speaker that you're maybe looking or interested to connect with? I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe you connect with all of them already, but is there someone that you're looking to connect with there?
I'm more so just excited to be in an event and actually listen to everybody because I haven't been to a real estate event in a long time. It's been a while.
Yeah,
I've just been grinding out the portfolio and pushing really hard because I've had to do a bunch of renovations. There are renovations that if I didn't do, it would be near impossible to sell the assets, and I knew that when I bought them. So I'm grinding those out so I can sell them to someone, which is kind of discouraging because I know I'm going to discount them down a little bit. So I'm doing all this work to get out, but that's been my main focus for the last year. So I really haven't gone to much or any real estate events.
I know Zuber ended sales January 15th. I believe that there's some more tickets available though. Someone mentioned I didn't hear him mention it, but someone else mentioned it that there could be 15 tickets still available. But maybe just confirm that. But let's see okay. Yeah. Oh, the good thing though, I think Ryan and his wife are speaking the second day possibly. I forget, but at least you get it out of the way first, right, Cody? You are kicking off day one. So that's feel good. You get to kick it off and just kind of relax and sit back after that, right?
Yeah, it'll be fun. And I think on the first day, I'm chatting with a bunch of teenagers on their next steps. Because my presentation is on taking their next step. I don't know if we're doing it the first day or the second day. I think it's the first day, but we'll see. It'll be fun.
I do see BK Properties tuning in from Cody's channel, and don't forget to come and subscribe to my channel, folks, here on Cody's channel, and vice versa. If you're here, go subscribe to Cody's. He's also streaming at the same time.
I'm almost to 1,700 subs. I'm at 1,696 as of this second.
Yeah, stop bragging, man. You no, no, that's awesome, man. I love that I'm trying to build this Zuber thing where I got regular people coming on. It seems like you're doing that also too with Justin Canberra on Wednesday. I got you on Monday. I got Brandon on Tuesday. I got Joe and Lauren Wednesday. Me and Justin are trying to figure out Thursdays. Friday I have Emily, but what also, if people can, definitely check out the live stream I did yesterday. I had Welby Asili on. He's kind of a big investor out on the East Coast. He's been on Bigger Pockets a few times. So I want to give a shout out to Gus Ophelia, who's in school. Gus set that up. So Gus was also on the live stream yesterday. So yeah, Welby is awesome. It's if you check him out on social media, it feels like he's yelling at you a lot of times, but that's just he's very entertaining. But he is a real deal. So I definitely go check out that live stream. But yeah, to your point, also you are speaking. I think you have a like they said, the teenagers or kids that are attending the event, kind of a group setup. But Dion did mention for the Wednesday and Thursday Dion meetups, it's I think they're gonna figure out which one it's at. So far, they're saying the Strip. They're gonna see if there's enough space there. It could be at Bubba Gump though, so people just tune in. Dion will probably post things on where the actual midnight meetups would be at. He doesn't know if the Denny's on the Strip has enough room, so it could be at Bubba Gump. But still, Wednesday, Thursday, Denny's. Oh, we'll call it Denny's for now. Denny's meetups. Friday morning, Brandon is having a coffee at the Denny's by the Venetian on the Strip. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. So hopefully everyone is getting to Vegas a little bit earlier, kind of getting settled in, coming to some of the meetups. But MJ, anything else you got? Anything else you want to bring up, or any other stuff you want to dig into?
No, I pretty much got my questions and thoughts out for now.
Cody, anything else you want to put out there? I mean,
Well, just for the main topic of the videos, shifting personal to business, that's the biggest thing I've learned how to do in the last few years. And so my encouragement for folks is to spend some time, really understand at least that second video, the unconventional way to pay off your personal debt. It doesn't stop at cars or credit cards or student loans. Something that I look at, and I've already done this. I didn't pay off the house. I own a house, which I could definitely retire in. Instead of paying that off, I allocated that money to do different deals and partner buyouts on my properties to stack up the asset column rather than scale down right now. But you can do value add deals where you pull out enough money to pay off a house, whether it's $100,000 house or $1 million house. There are deals out there where you can pull the money out tax free, have the tenants make the new payment and cash flow a little bit, and write a check for your personal residence. And that's freeing. So, I mean, that's going to be one of my next steps is probably knocking out the home purchase or pay off the one that I have on the west side. But if you can, and you do have any consumer debt of any kind, figure out what type of asset you'd have to buy where you could just do your value add, pull out the money. Even if you owe $500,000 or $1 million, what kind of asset would you have to buy to do that and pull out that money and just write a check? It doesn't have to be something you own today. It could be something you'd have to buy to do that. But that gets very motivating. And it's very possible for anybody to do. The fourth deal I ever bought, I pulled out more than enough to pay off a house in the area that I live on the west side. And those houses aren't cheap. That was the fourth one. You could find a deal that could pay off your current situation. Or if you don't own a house, you could pay cash for a house and eliminate your housing expense. Or buy a duplex and live on one side. Now you got cash flow and you don't have a housing expense. So I would encourage people to try and go down that rabbit hole and figure out the most efficient path for them to go do one or two deals that could knock out their living expense through a cash out refi.
I like that. Yeah, I think it's a mindset shift. Instead of like, how do I pay this? It's more asking what asset could pay this, right? And I think, before we wrap things up, but even to your, you are in strictly, oh, well, not strictly, but primarily in the more maybe commercial space, the multifamily space. But you people don't maybe realize that you do stuff with single family homes, but it's more for a purpose though, right? Like you're kind of more like a flip, I should say, to get, like you say, accumulate stuff to maybe uh, pay off certain things or whatnot, right?
Yeah. And I've done a couple home flips. I've done a couple burrs where I would buy a house, renovate it, refinance it because it's in a good location and I think it'll continue to appreciate. It pays for all the debt and I pulled money out. So I pulled out more than my cost basis. The idea of pulling money out. You can pull money out of residential stuff too. If you get a good enough deal, you can pull out 100 grand, 200 grand, but you got to make sure that it still cash flows and it pays for itself because you need a reason to borrow. I mean, we could do a video on that sometime, but in the United States, you have to have a reason to borrow money. So the asset is the reason you borrow money. You just have to have a means to pay for it. And so when you're doing, whether it's single family or apartments or mobile home parks, that's your reason to borrow. Just make sure that the asset can pay for the debt and then borrow responsibly, like drink responsibly, do all the things responsibly, right? The topics we've talked about today.
Man, people asking a lot of you, Cody. So Flavio is now saying, Cody, you should focus on new generation, 16 to 22-year-olds, start some type of school. I would like to find someone like you where my son uh, gets advice.
You like to find someone like me? I feel like you already found me, Flavio. You've texted me a couple times during this live stream.
See, now people know what I got to deal with. Flavio is a great guy, but yes. So, but well, to that point, people can like I don't know if your plan is to ever open school, but right now you're just kind of piggybacking off of Zuber's platform, right? So you have the Gen Z call on Saturdays that you and Dylan are running, and that's access to Cody Davis once a week, basically, right? So Flavio or others out there that may have teenagers that maybe could use some of Cody's insights, that come join school, and you can check him out there on at the Gen Z call. Brady Morgan says, that is key, Cody. Great message. I look at income in lump sums rather than monthly, as in what I can do with the 100K I make off of spec home. How often it can be done. Very freeing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then to take it a step further, you can figure out how do I get those lump sums to be tax free? Because if you make a spec home and you sell it, you get 100 grand, great. But there are assets where you can cash out 100 grand tax free, $1 million tax free, more, and then you get to keep it and you wait 5 years and you do it again. So whatever works for each individual, you got to figure out what fits your lifestyle and your business model. But that is a very true point from Brady. My wife works a job and she has stability, and I'll go a couple months without any money. We have the little streams of cash flow, but then there'll be a month and it's like, oh, we got a big cash injection. Then it'll go a few months. And super true. It's not super consistent in the beginning.
Great advice. Yeah, I think this was a great episode. Great way to kick off the week. Cody, thanks for always doing this. MJ, good to have you back on. I will see you in Vegas. Cody does videos, puts them out there every Tuesday and Thursday. He also records a Zuber after this. I'm not sure exactly what day those come out, but he also looks like he'll be live streaming with Justin Camera on Wednesdays. So go stay tuned for that. But MJ, good having you on, man. Thanks for doing this. I'm glad I'll see you in Vegas. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow, same time with Brandon Potts. Thanks, everyone.